I am the tax man. I'm here on AM 560, The Answer. And everywhere else you go, I'm the tax man. I'm here with Deborah Schreiner, our technical producer, my co-host, Jim Leahy. I rant about the Constitution, and I really love that segment of the show because again, I'm trying to preserve and defend our Constitution, and I want you to do that too.
I've already put it up for the Illinois.
We were talking through in the break about the natural progression of society is for totalitarianism. You have to fight for freedom, and I'm asking you to join us in that fight for freedom. But this is the Mr. Know-It-All segment.
And now here's that man with a head just crammed full of knowledge, Mr. Know-It-All.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I know. Jim's like, what are you doing, Jim? This is...
I'm getting...
Hello, Jim.
You know what I am doing? I'm so
to
sorry.
Jim.
I'm so sorry. I'm setting up the Trust Radio Network for next week.
Okay.
Because this week we just had a great guest come on, which we're going to talk about.
Who's coming up next week?
Well, Executive Green Carpet Clean.
Oh.
For a lot of people that know, because
That's right.
that are watching on WatchTalkRadio.com. So I was responding to something. I do apologize. That's right, Mr. Know-It-All, the segment where Attorney Stephen Leahy gives us his infinite wisdom on all things taxes.
I did want to. That is true that we want to make sure that you watch the Trust Radio Network.
I do apologize.
Every Saturday at 10 o'clock. And next week we're going to have Executive Green Carpet Clean talk about the science behind cleaning your carpet. And it's much more than you think. It's not what you think it is. So listen next week and you'll find out. But this segment, what I want to do, this is the question I get. If I had to tell you one thing to solve an IRS problem, the one thing that I need to do to solve the IRS problem, and also this would help me avoid the IRS problems if I do this to begin with. But once I have an IRS problem, what's the one thing I need to do to solve it?
The one thing.
One thing, Jim. And we talk about this a lot on this show.
Sit down with the IRS and tell them everything.
No, that's what people do. But that's not what you're supposed to do. Okay. Here's the one thing. Compliance.
That was my second guess.
Oh, I have a guess. Pay the IRS back in gift cards that you give to them at a location, like outside a nondescript location. You just leave them sitting on a garbage can.
What do they call you?
Gift cards.
Right. Here's the call, and then give us the number. They do that, do they?
We don't mean to laugh, but this is what people are doing out there. Deborah,
watch out for scams.
Exactly
They're coming.
True.
This is the time of year it's happening.
I agree. This is the scam.
Remember,
time.
I got that scam right before the show.
Now, let me tell people
ago.
what compliance is. Okay, because I could talk about, but compliance, I always tell people, I think sometimes the IRS is more concerned with you being in compliance than they are in collecting back taxes. Now, I'm not telling you that they don't want to collect back taxes, but they have programs if I can't pay them, like the offer and compromise, like the partial installment agreement, like bankruptcy can get rid of the taxes. But what about all of these things that I'm talking about solving your IRS problem, once you have an agreement with the IRS, the one thing that you must do, got to be in compliance in the future. You got to pay your taxes on time, and you've got to file your tax return on time from now on. And no matter what the other agreement is, if I get an offer in compromise, and let's say I mentioned one before, I got $25. They owed $60,000. We got a $25. Well, if next year that person does not file their tax return on time. Now, let's say 3 years from now, they don't file their tax return on time. They owe the IRS another $1,000. Well, guess what? My offer in compromise is out the door. Okay, because I have violated one of the parts of our agreement.
And people don't understand.
Because one of the parts of our agreement was I'm going to be in compliance.
But I didn't read.
Nobody reads it, and even if you do, it doesn't mean anything. But that's why I'm reiterating it today. If you're in one way to avoid IRS problems, compliance.
Isn't that the most important part of having an attorney, though? They read they give you the legal advice, so that way, again, it's like selling a home. I don't mean to bring it to that, but that's just what I do, so I kind of understand. It's like selling a home. Everybody thinks that they could do it their own way, and they should. Go ahead, try it. Go right ahead, but there's a reason why there's a profession for a reason. There's a reason why these people are professionals.
But one way you can avoid IRS problems is to stay in compliance. I file my taxes. I pay them. I'm in compliance. I'm going to be good. Simple. Unless, of course, I get audited, and then they find out. But then you can come up with some sort of payment plan. And if you're just doing the right thing anyway, I wanted to mention, I'm reading all these stories about people complaining because their tax refund isn't as big as and they're making this out like somehow Trump has failed. No, it hasn't. They just took less money out of your taxes have gone down. They just didn't take as much out of your payroll as they did before. You're still getting a refund. Why would you want to pay more to the IRS than you owe them and to make them give you a refund? I don't want to give them more money. Well, now some people think that's a savings plan. That ain't a savings plan. Okay, that's my own opinion. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that. But anyway, because I've been reading a lot about that, all these stories about this, and it really irks me. It just really irks me. I know you do. Anyway, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All. Now I'm a 1099. It's getting tougher out there.
Yeah, well, that's called growing up, Jim.
I'm a Toys R Us kid.
I don't want to grow up either.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this segment. If you have any questions, please go to watchtalkradio.com or go to chicagotaxteam.com, and you can ask those questions, and we will feature them on the show. That's right. Go to chicagotaxteam.com, and you can ask those questions. We will answer them on the show. Or you can give Open Tax Resolution a call, 312-664-6649, and visit chicagotaxteam.com. It's going to be your hub to fight the IRS. Your hub.
I'm
woke. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Listen to our sponsors. Come back on AM 560. The Answer.